Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and stitching crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We are on episode 147 today, and we're in a new location. We're at my house today for filming.
The kids are in school.
Kids are in school. My dog decided to go into heat and needs a diaper on, and so I just did not want to leave her alone for too long today.
Right.
Trying to eliminate anything. Obviously, she's in a diaper, but she was not a very big fan of it, and if I can just try to eliminate her not ripping it off, it would be great. So, yes. During the summer, it's not the summer, during the school year, we might be doing some at my house to some at my mom's normally, because we actually started filming here for anyone who remembers.
Yeah.
And there might just be a normal, a continuing, moving forward, normal progression between locations, just to be able to create a different sense of environment, or just relax one house and one location, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just figured that I would let you guys know that, and moving forward, it's just been one of those weeks, because having both kids go to school, I finally sent my youngest to his first full day today, and whoo, was it a thing. It was just so emotional. And
for mommy, not child.
Oh,
he
yeah.
just said, "Bye, Mom."
But yeah, I know it was one of those things where I just, very grateful for this opportunity to be at this stage of my life. Both of my kids are very comfortable going to school, having fun. It's just, I'm just gonna have to get used to it.
I know. More crafts for us.
More regular craft time for sure, but my goodness, was it just
Yeah. It is.
Just a moment. But yeah, we got some interesting finished projects to actually show you, because this week was highly productive.
Really. So, I told you last week that I had finished the random blanket and I had another project started. Well, I finished it. It's another blanket.
Oh my goodness, this one was nuts.
Yeah. But I did my 2-strand half double crochet using a 10
Scrappy
millimeter
blanket.
Yeah, 10 millimeter hook. Played yarn chicken again. Only had this much left of my variegated.
That is insane.
The variegated's in light purple, dark purple, greens, variegated green, or ombre greens, like an ombre green, ombre purple, and a khaki color.
A khaki brown, sand, lace color.
So this is all that I had left of that. But I used it all the way through this blanket, and then I had other colors that went with it. I had a green, I had several different purples, and I had a khaki color. So that's what I'm going to show you.
It kind of looks like a vineyard.
Yes, I like to call it my grape blanket, because it's all the colors, like you have the green grapes and you have the purple grapes, but even the leaves of the grapes are represented in this. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. So we have the khaki with the variegated, and then another brighter purple, the greens.
Oh my goodness, it's so rich.
And then, just a minute.
Sorry.
Down. And then this lighter purple that just looks like a glow in the dark. And then you have more purples and greens. And then I ended on the khaki. And I went as far as I could go with that variegated because I've been on this kick lately of use it up.
Yeah.
If you're going to be using it on the blanket, use it up. The last one was 24 skeins, use it up. And this one, I wanted to use up all of that variegated. The rest of it, I'm giving to Sarah for her stash, for her
little
her little keychains or whatever. I don't need it. There's nothing I can do with it. But she can find ways of using the littlest scraps for her little projects. So that's where I'm at with this. And I'm excited for what Sarah's going to show you because she made stuff for me. I got a new laptop and I wanted something to... Okay, I got a new laptop because I'm going to be... you know, with the videos, I needed a faster computer to make sure that they, you know, uploaded and everything. My old computer was getting so slow. And not only that, but I'm trying to write several books, and on this computer I can do that, but I wanted to be able to go on writing retreats, which I am going on this weekend with a friend of mine. And I wanted my computer to be safe, and I wanted my cord to be not necessarily safe, but bundled. I wanted it to be bundled. And so I asked Sarah to make me something to cover both of them. And I gladly paid her for it because it was such a good job. And I'm going to let her talk about it now.
Well, two things real quick.
Yeah.
A neighbor of mine knows a lot about planting and stuff. She explained that there's very specific plants, such as grapes, that if the soil does not have the right nutrients, the fruit is going to come out bitter.
I can see that.
And the reason why I said that is because I know that you have your hanging grapes.
Yeah.
And that sometimes you say that they come out not tasting sweet enough. She says that that if you look it up, there's very specific nutrients that you can put into your soil to sweeten some of your plants, your fruit population, because when they are pulling nutrients from the soil, if it doesn't have those things, they will not turn out sweet.
I can see that.
So I just figured when that great blanket came into my mind, that tip came into my mind, and me remembering you saying, hey, some of this was kind of a hit or miss for you from the last couple of years. Figured I would share that real quick. My next thing that I want to say before I forget is that when it comes to these, my mom had a very specific image in mind, such as she was thinking, okay, I want to have a case for my laptop, and I was like, okay, when it comes to the leather, if you're wanting something snug, it's going to be much more of like a sleeve. Yeah. So we went with that. We didn't do like a proper case. So I figured that I would let you know that she wanted something that would protect it to put into her bag. She did not want me to make a bag for it, like a laptop briefcase. No, that's not what I was.
I wanted a snug case for my laptop to put into something else so that it was protected.
Yep. So the first thing was that she chose the color. She ended up choosing the same green that you can see back here. I have a lot of my rolls of leather right here. We went with the kind of the pine green.
Yeah.
Then we had to choose the colors of the thread, and she wanted the stitching that she didn't want to be seen. She wanted it to be in the kind of the same tone or kind of flesh color of the leather, which was a dark color. And then she wanted this red that kind of looks like cranberry against the pine color to be making the stitches that she wanted to be seen prominent. We decided to do a bit of a homemade clasp on this so that there would be no metal on the project so that it would not possibly disrupt the mechanics of the laptop in
Right.
this situation.
I didn't want any magnets because
Yeah.
I didn't want it to disrupt my computer.
So there was this clasp idea where you kind of create this pocket that would catch a strap
Yeah.
to and it kind of, I don't know, it was just very simple, but when I thought about it and I realized I didn't want, if it was going to be a forefront of the design, I wanted it to be something that she liked, and she likes hearts. So I made the the clasp a heart shape. So this is the back. Simple.
My laptop is still in it.
And this is the front. I feel like with the cranberry stitching that I did to to protect the edge, the live edge, that this kind of looks like a letter.
Yeah.
Like a love letter. So yeah, so this was a pinched seam so that it was sewn open face. And then this, I did do a very specific type of stitch to kind of make it look like, I don't know, it kind of it's not gonna...
Like a blanket stitch.
It wasn't a blanket stitch.
Yeah.
It's not, can you hold this so I can try to get this to properly see the stitch? I don't know if it's gonna...
You might be too close.
It's not gonna show it. I end up doing kind of a figure 8 sort of blanket stitch that kind of makes it look like it's a braid.
Yeah.
On the edge, so it is fully covered, and these threads are waxed, so they are fully going to hold. Once they stay in place, they're going to mold to that shape, same as the leather. And then obviously you can see the heart, and like I said, it's a heart that the back of the heart. Okay, there's 2 hearts. The one heart is sewed to this lip. This heart is sewed just to the bottom so that it can be, you can pull the strap through and be able to open to the laptop inside. And then obviously I protected this edge and made sure there was something to pull it out. This could be put back and put into the tab and make it look like it's the love letter. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It is. I love it.
Then my mom said that to match, she wanted the to have something that matched the laptop sleeve for the cord that charges the laptop. She wanted a pocket to be a bag to be able to do the same thing, but she wanted it to wrap around. So with this idea, as you can see, the strap is kind of more wrapped around to keep it a little bit more snug and secure. So we did do the same heart idea and the same kind of general idea, except that this one was much more tapered and a wraparound. So when you undo this, it opens up fully to a pocket right here. This is kind of how it opens, and then obviously the cord and stuff is inside, and then it can be redone by snugly wrapping it back around and doing it like that. And this is what my mom wanted. So
Okay,
it's
so put them together.
so they are a set.
Isn't that great? I love it.
So this is what she wanted, and this is what she got.
Yes. And now I
So-
can go for my weekend and have everything protected.
So
And
yeah,
it's still stitching.
yes. The only thing that is an irk on my end is because, so I finished this guy. I finished this guy with her here. And that's when she presented this idea to me. And that same day, I started this. By the next day, this was done.
Yeah.
because of that, the only one mistake I made on this was that I did not wax the edge, this edge. So this seam, this open edge, I did not wax the way that I would have wanted to. It's still fine. You can have an unburnished edge and the leather still be fine, because this is not going to be exposed to the weather.
Right.
But it was much more of like I did the other one to soften it and kind of create a lack of contrast in color. And my mom's like, no, I want it now. It's fine. I got it. And so, and honestly, it doesn't take away from this. It's fine. No. It can be done later if she wants it to be, but otherwise it is still a completed work. But it was one of those things where if it wasn't my mom that was receiving it, this would have been a mistake that it would have eaten at me, because when I think of making something that people are paying money for, I want it to be fully done in my mind, and I want to match, especially if it's part of a set match. But luckily my mom said that she was fine with it not being done. She can always come to me and get it done for free like that. It was technically part of the deal, but because of how quickly this was made for the sake of her being able to go on her writing retreat tomorrow, right, this is what the finished product was, and it looks absolutely fine. Yeah. But yeah, one of those things. It's just, for me, it's the same as when you're rushing to sew your ends in, and you're not doing that long tail through, you're only doing a couple stitches in and then cutting. Yeah. It's that feeling. It's I should have done it till I was like 3 inches in. Yeah. And I did like 1.5 just to make it done, knowing that it could pop open. But it's technically done. It's one of those feelings of feeling rushed in a project while also knowing that you did a good job and it should be fine. I don't know. It's one of those feelings that I'm having. But at the same time, it's done. Now, for those who watched last week's episode, you'll remember I brought up a project from the dead.
Baby Yoda.
I did finish that. That day.
Yeah.
Because it was her birthday. That day. And this is what it was. This is how it ended up turning out.
So cute.
So yeah, the head did move. It was a fully done thing. I did use the blush in the ear and around the cheeks, if you can see, and I did all the things and it turned out well, and the birthday girl got it before she went to Florida to be with her dad, and
she loves it.
It worked out really great. And the head moves and it's able to pose and it's huge. I was carrying it around like a baby. I could literally have it in the crook of my arm and have and the head can move to make it look like it's looking out while I'm holding it. Like, if you wanted to cosplay with that thing and be the Mandalorian, my good lord, it just...
It was good.
And then... she was not the only one that ordered from me recently. My mother-in-law ordered from me. A lot of family orders. And I know that I'm very lucky that it's family orders because there's a much more understanding as to how long things take.
And there's a grace period.
But here's the thing. I have a birthday that this is for, so it has to be done before then. How it's working is that my mother-in-law... Just give me a second.
Her grandchild?
Yes. So, my husband's side of the family is very close. When two families merged out of divorce and then together, so my mother-in-law and technically my husband's stepdad, those families merged really close. Yeah, they did. There was very little worry about it being an inconvenience for both families. When I say that my father-in-law, my stepfather-in-law's family is like, they're not estranged. They come over, we come over. It is not an issue. It's not a his family and a her family and they're separated. It's we all spend time together. It is not an issue. And so... when my stepfather-in-law's grandkids come over, it is literally fine. Like, there is no...
Yeah.
They treat those two, you know, the patriarch and matriarch of that family, they take their roles seriously, and they take whatever kid is technically able to be their grandkid, their niece, their nephew. They take them in, and it is family.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. They spend time together. They love each other. It is a great thing. And so it's one of those things where it's like, they go around, and my mother-in-law was like, this very specific girl that is now in college loves Lilo and Stitch. Since the movie came out, or whenever she first saw it, it has been her thing. She has a whole... it's part of the reason why my daughter... I think my daughter loved Lilo and Stitch on her own, but when she learned that this particular family member loved Lilo and Stitch, she was like, I want to be like her, and I want to have all the Stitches, and I want to have a huge collection, and I want to aspire. When my daughter had her birthday party that was Lilo and Stitch theme, this girl came being like, I'm trying not to be jealous because of all the Stitch stuff and all this stuff. At that party, my mother-in-law looked at me and said, whatever she wants. And I want for her birthday, because her birthday is in the middle of September. And that girl looked at me, she's like, could I have scrum? Could I have a ribbon? Could I have a... And she just started telling me what she wanted, and I was like, yeah, I can make that babe then. And so it was very openly decided what she was getting for her birthday. That is an order from me to make by then, because a lot of these specific characters are a bit expensive, because they're a bit much more of a obtuse side character for the show. It's not like a main character like Stitch, or a well-received side character like Angel. It is a bit... like, you have to love the show to know these specific characters, because they kind of come later than from the first movie. And one of them is named Reuben, and he is a alien from the Stitch universe that loves making sandwiches. I love this character, but to think that this girl loves this character so much that she's always wanted a Reuben and has never had one was like a... how could you not get a Reuben's plushie at some point in your life? Because there are out there. You could buy them, but it's from my understanding, she has not received one yet. And I'm like, feels like an honor. So I am currently in the process of figuring this character out on my own, because there's not really a pattern. I have not really looked for one, but I don't think there's a pattern out there. And so right now I'm in the process. I have been looking at this guy from back to front, everything. I'm even trying to make sure I got all the birthmarking look for his back. I'm doing from bottom up to make sure that I have all the right colors and measurements, because he's kind of like this mustard color because he loves sandwiches. I am making sure that his arms are perfectly aligned so that when I position him and I make sure he has a sandwich, his hands are going to be grabbing forward. I'm doing everything I can, and I got so many colors in here, and I'm still trying to decide whether I'm having his mouth be open, because if his mouth is open, all the colors inside of his mouth are in blues. And so it's like, he is a very colorful little guy, because his body is like the off-white mustard in a very just a sand brown color, and then his nose is like this pink slash dark pink going into magenta color, and then his eyes are black, but his mouth is like a navy and a light sky blue color, and it's like, oh my goodness, he is so colorful. But they all work together because he's supposed to be a Hawaiian alien. And I just love that. And he loves to make sandwiches, and he was never given a name. He was... oh...
a number?
Yeah, because Jumba, the evil scientist, made 626 or 27
That's what I was
aliens. Because he did make at least one or two after Stitch, but Stitch was technically his last one until the series. But Reuben was like the one right before Stitch, I think. I think he was 625.
Oh, okay.
Or 624 or 623. He was in the 620s. And they only called him that. But Lilo always gave every single one of the characters a name, so they had an identity. So in the miniseries, if you've ever watched it, Lilo actually captures all the aliens because they are technically these dehydrated pods, but when they explode, because they're around water, every single time they rain or there's something, whenever they meet water, they expand, and their purpose kind of becomes chaotic in the island until she gives them a job, a name, and a purpose, so that they're not feeling misfit or that they have to be this terror. They can be given a purpose.
Yeah.
And it's a very kind of interesting concept for a kid's show to kind of be like, this looks chaotic, but if we're just looking at it from this person's point of view, we can see how they're trying to do something and they're not realizing where they could be doing it, where it can be beneficial for everybody.
Right.
So that's Lilo's job, and she gives him a name. This character was a side character to the bad guy in that show, and when she finally meets him, she realizes, oh yeah, you love to make sandwiches. You are very passionate about cooking. Why haven't you been given a name? And him being like, the person I've been with this whole entire time since I've been awoken never gave me a name. And so she names him Reuben after the Reuben sandwich. And he falls in love with it. And it's this really cute little story. And so I love that. And I'm very excited to bring this character to life by kind of working through it, knowing that we're just a family that really appreciates the story, and knowing that even though we're not blood related, even this other person loved it, showed up for my daughter's birthday. They might not be blood, but they're very much related, and they care, and it just is a pleasure to be able to... I've seen this kid grow up, and it just feels so nice. I just remember her when she was very young. Maybe not a kid, but she was like a preteen when I entered the family 10 years ago, and she's really grown up.
And now you get to make stuff for her.
Yeah, I think she was like 9 or 10 when I met her, and now she's out and going to college.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's wow.
Okay, so with that, we have another quote, and it says, "Do not complain about growing older. Many are denied the privilege." And that was said by Robert Russell. Do not complain about growing older. Many are denied the privilege.
I got to choose the quote for today, and part of it was coming from the bittersweetness of recognizing that I am getting older and my kids are getting older and they're going to school. And I was literally at the store afterward, and I was talking to the cashier, and she's like, be grateful you're here because eventually they're going to be out of school. And you're going to be remembering them just going into school. And that being the bittersweet memory. Right now, you're bittersweet that they're going into school. Soon they're going to be graduating. And then this, and then this next stage. She's like, it keeps going. That feeling keeps happening. At one point, it was them going into school, and the next thing is that they're going to be out of school. And then the next thing is going to hit where you realize that they're at the next stage, and next stage, and next stage. And I was thinking about it. But I also have a friend whose birthday is about to happen. And I know she doesn't know I'm telling the story, but this is another thing, is her birthday's right around the corner. It's tomorrow, I think. And her second born was born on her birthday.
Yeah.
It was her birthday present. And here's the thing. You'd think, oh, is that something that she would have wanted? She's someone who survived suicide a couple of times from a very bad situation that she had happen in her life, that she was not feeling that she had any help getting out of, and she went through that, and she's a survivor of that mental health battle and her circumstantial battle. And she has told me that she's listened to songs and seeing from other people who have survived it talk about the fact that because they thought that they would not survive past a certain age, every single time she hits a different milestone in her life, how impactful that is to her, because she is now excited about this new stage in her life, or seeing her kids when she never even thought she would have kids.
Right.
She never thought she would grow out of being a teenager, so very specific teenager. So
now she's married and having kids.
And she says every single time, she says that she's excited to get gray hairs because she knows that that's going to be another stage of her life that she's excited to see. Like, she's emotional about her kids getting older more than I am, because every single stage of life is so much more impactful because she never thought she would meet it.
Yeah.
That it is so much more boom.
Yeah.
It hits her hard because she's like, I didn't ever think I would get to experience it. Mm-hmm. And I never had that. I'm grateful for that, but it's one of those things where it's like, when you think about it through that perspective of, you know, you could think of it, this quote, through war, through illness, through circumstantial tragedy, through, you know, accidents where you have friends and family that have had their lives cut short.
Yeah.
But then you also have the perspective of people who have gone through those battles where it's like, they never thought that they would be able to experience life, and it is that precious to them because they're moving forward now, having the perspective that they never thought that they would be able to have.
Right.
And I don't know. This, to me, I know that this is not a suicidal awareness month or anything, but for me, this is also it has so many different levels of meaning. This has not knowing what experiences I was ever going to experience just in general with my children, these milestones, that being like, wow, I'm in the next stage, and realizing that I never thought I was going to experience it, to friends that never thought that they were going to experience it, to having the perspective of those who didn't get to.
And another note, September is let me think about this. Children's Cancer Awareness Month, according to St. Jude. And
yeah, it's just so hitting us from all corners, man.
Yeah, I had to think about that because my statement came in and it was on the envelope, and I wanted to remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not trying to share my friend's story as, you know, taking, you know, it is obviously a hard, traumatic thing, but just hearing her perspective of, I never thought I would.
Yeah.
Every experience to me is new. Every experience to me is a shock.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. It is something that she cherishes in a different appreciation than I have, because I have never gone through that specific battle, and therefore those milestones hit her harder. And for any one of you that might have ever had that experience, whether it's coming through from a loss, whether it's coming through just from that changed perspective, whether it's this new stage of life where you never even thought you would reach it, or didn't know what you had, or just that shock of time passing, or just could be a close friend that died, a family member. It could be just coming to that realization that there's so many that haven't, or whether you are that person who has survived something that could have taken you out. Whether it was mental health, whether it was circumstantial, whether it was an accident, whatever. And having that brief moment of, wow, I am appreciating this because I really should be taking and counting all my blessings, because so many don't get what I have right now.
Yeah.
And this is not me trying to be some sort of like deeply spiritual, as much as just sometimes you have to center yourself and come to terms with every moment is genuinely precious.
And you should appreciate it.
And so I appreciate every single time I can have these small impacts.
Yeah.
This, you know, these little things where it's just like, it makes this part of your life more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because you should be enjoying making the videos and writing. If they're not fun, then what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Me crocheting, me making the gifts, me making even the Baby Yoda. For someone who is going through such a major health issue too, as my sister-in-law is going through, every moment should be fun.
Yeah.
Every moment should mean something. It shouldn't be something wasted. All these little impacts that we can make, whether it's just self-reflection or just every single intentional thing.
Yeah.
Take the moment today and just be grateful for where you're at and make a conscious decision to make a good impact.
Yeah.
I hope that today wasn't too heavy for you, but I just want to say thank you for being with us to the finish. If you are here, that you have a good moment to just reflect today and be happy that everything that you're doing is because you want to be doing it or because you find it valuable.
And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share with your friends.
Yep, we are grateful for anyone who has us be a part of their day, and that we hope that we are feeding you and encouraging you. You definitely are encouragement to us.
Yes.
We love making these videos, and we don't plan to stop anytime soon.
No.
So until next time, we hope that your work goes well, that your finished projects make it to finished projects, and that you stitch your way
To mental health.